We are now 3 lines from the top, page Mem Ches, chapter 27 of Shaar HaEmunah by the Middler Rebbe, and we were just talking about how it is, and we're wondering also how it is that through our telling of Hashem's physical praise in this physical world, how as Hashem interacts with this physical world and makes everything, that why it is that through praising Him in those inyanim, that brings us to a refinement of our nefesh hativius. So now we're going on about how Hashem reveals Himself in this physical world. She'af al pi, shezeh boy, min hatzimtzum koach eloki hayoser acharoin shu malchus de siya, because although everything from this world comes from a great tzimtzum, a great contraction of Hashem's light and Hashem's ability, and it's like the last of all lasts. It comes down so much that becomes in malchus de siya, and over on that level, Malchus itself is the last sphere of all worlds. Whether it's in Atzilus, Malchus is the last sphere of Bria, Yetzirah, Siya, so on and so forth. And Hashem is creating down here in this physical world, Malchus to Siya. And then from that level, that spiritual level, comes physicality. That's how low this physical world is. It's the lowest of all things. Shemuster bechitzonius hakelim de Siya, which covers up and it hides in the last kelim, the last aspects of a Siya, until you get to this physical world. Aval harihu ria mekoriv baruchnius. Nevertheless, a mensch, through recognizing what this physical world is, can come close in spirituality to Hashem when he realizes what's going on. It's not a contradiction. Shebegeshem poel, that when he brings out physicality, aloki, godly physicality, shemizeh dafka, yavo yisron haor. He's able, when a mensch recognizes this about what Hashem is doing in this physical world, he's able himself, kaviyachol, to produce a greater light. A greater light than what? Than what his nefesh elokis is able to produce through being able to perceive Hashem and the higher spiritual worlds. When the mensch is down here in this physical world and perceiving Hashem down here as Hashem is, then that produces a greater amount of light. So a question can come along. How is it possible that the nefesh elokis, which is seemingly so much higher than the nefesh hativius, how is it able that the nefesh hativius can produce a greater light? Seeming what's higher will have greater light. Why is it down here specifically? And what we're going to get into is the source of the nefesh hativius. The source of nefesh hativius is from olam de toihu, where the source of the nefesh elokis is from olam de kedusha de siya. Nevertheless, olam de toihu is much higher. It's higher itself than even Atzilus. And so therefore, because that's where this physical world and the nefesh hativius comes from. Therefore, from this dark physical world, he's able to bring lights from that source of tohu and able to elevate them and go back to a higher place. Yeah. Okay. Beriya haruchnius to neshama. And you will have then, therefore, because of the light that he's producing, you will have a spiritual vision up there above. Gam ba'olamas haruchniim hayoser elyoina kagan eden ha'elyon olamayla mayla. And because of what's going down here in this physical world, his spirituality will be able to go up and up and up till Gan Eden and very, very, very high, because of what the mensch is doing down here in this physical world. Yeah. Kulu mata kal hanis kra'el, and it's all through down here what's going on. Ulefi shezeh bechinas hester eloki, and according to this, that there's a covering of Hashem down here in this physical world, kokach, until it comes shaboy bechinas masech amavdil, becomes like a curtain that intercedes ad noiga de siya until the level of noiga de siya, until this neutral place of a siya where things can. Physical things can be either very good or very bad, meaning it depends upon how a mensch uses them. Fire can be used to cook food for Shabbos. Fire can also be used, God forbid, for gunfights and whatever, or all sorts of anything that happens in this world. Hari shorsha harishun haya bebechinas zayin damachin dekadmin tetoihu, and the source of a siya exists within the Zayin Machi de Kadmin de Toihu, meaning everything in this physical world, its source is essentially in Toihu. The 7 Malchi Kadmin, the 7 kings of Toihu, I guess that refers to the 7 Spheros over there. Chesed Gavura Teferes Netzach Hoidi Soid Malchus. Shlifnei Atzilus, and this is before Atzilus, where Toihu was. She is Sham Hashvira Bekeli, Shardu Venefel Ad Lamata Mata Lios Vichinas, Hester Acher Hester, B'Mesechim De Lavush HaChashmal Ad Lavush De Noiga De Yasiya. Okay, so what happens to Toihu over there? Toihu was on such a plane that all of the Kalim wanted to exist in and of themselves. Chesed wanted to be Chesed, didn't want to mix with anything else because it believed that its way is the way that it should be, and it wanted for itself to have true divine energy. However, Hashem didn't think that was the way. That's the way that Chesed should ultimately be. Chesed can only really be Chesed if it's amended, if it has amending with the other spheros. Then it can have true kindness, as we know. When rain falls and falls and falls and it falls too much, it's a flooding. So sometimes if you have too much Chesed, it's no good. Just like a child, if you give a child too much food and too much candy and too much sports or too many video games or whatever, then it gets like fried out. It's no good. It's too much. So Hashem said, sorry Chesed, that's not the way to be. And then Hashem's light just smashed the Kalim apart, Chesed, and then Gavura was the next one in line, said strength and ultimate strength, that's the way it needs to be. Take the hammer and crack everything, The idea is that it says like this, that Hashem originally intended that the world should be created through Gavura. My understanding is that Hashem didn't want his divine providence to be like so open and understandable, and he wanted people to come to Hashem on their own. But as it says, the Midrash says that the world couldn't endure through that. People had to see Hashgacha practice in the world. So Hashem said, sorry Gavura, you're not the only way to be. So again, Hashem smashed that Keli, and then came along the Mr. Hippie Tiferes and put on all sorts of colors and everything, and thought that itself is the way it should be. And Hashem said, no, Mr. Tiferes, it's not the way everything should be. You have to be mended. And Hashem kept breaking the Kalim until the Kalim itself, the shattered Kalim, came down to this world of Tikkun. And that was the idea of Mivar HaNitzutzim, that we should take and elevate the sparks that fell from the world of Tohu and elevate them back upwards, meaning we should take the physical things in this world and then we should make them and use them for their true godly purpose in order to elevate the sparks. However, parenthetically speaking, we already know from what the Rebbe Melech HaMashiach told us that we've already elevated the sparks, we've already polished the buttons. So what's there to do now? We have to be Makabel Panei Mashiach and everything that we do in order to bring Mashiach down here in this world. Very simply, that's what we do. Doesn't mean that we shouldn't still involve ourselves with trying to make this physical world a holy place. It's just that we don't have to have that divine intention anymore in order to mivar the nitzutzim, in order to elevate the sparks. Rather, our kavanah needs to be that this is with the intention of accepting Mashiach, so that when Mashiach comes, we'll be ready to serve him at full purposes. Okay. Levush HaChashmal, and it came, and Ad Levush Noiga. So everything fell, all these sparks of Kedusha from Toihu fell, until it became then clothed in Chashmal, until it became then clothed in the Levush of Noiga, Dasiya. In Cain, Kasher, when we saw Yaru or Eloki, B'Poel Amase, when we see the godly light and energy in this world, Dafka, Zehu in Yisron or. There's a great advantage of this light, because why? Because it comes from a higher place than where from the Nefesh Elokis is holding. Or Sheboy min ha-choshech to Toihu, because it's coming from the choshech of Toihu, and Shekoidin l'tikun de Tzilus, and it's before tikun de Tzilus, where Nefesh Elokis is residing and dwelling, is in Gan Eden, so on and so forth. Okay, Akomoy la'acher habir b'tachlius, that after the beer, after everything is done, just like in the future to come, Shi'gala Kavod Hashem, that Hashem's glory will be revealed. V'yoser ha'chester, this concealment, this curtain will be taken down. Hamasach hazeh. Kamosh Kasu Verzal Asi Lavoi Yetzia Kadosh Baruch Hu Hema Minartika. He'll take out the sun from its shield, like the Hashem, which represents the Hashem Elokim. That's the shield, and he'll take Hashem Elokim away from Hashem Havaya, so we'll see that everything is really one. It's just all Hashem Havaya anyway, so it'll be open, revealed for us to see. Shehezehu Hasaras is the removal. Hashem Elokim. She yored behester, acher hester, he fell down from concealment after concealment. Shuanartik hamachase, which was an envelope which covers hamastir and hides al Shem Havaya, on the Shem Havaya. Imkain yaru az kol basar b'Shem Havaya. Therefore, every physical entity will be able to see the Shem Havaya. Dafka. B'toisifos or will have an additional light. Ki yisron ha'or chulu. An additional light, and that's all that needs to be said.